welcome to Speaking of Horses, and we're here we are in Tennessee right now. We're at the Southern Equine Expo, and Mr. Shawn Gannon is my guest. Now, there's a lot of things about riding a horse. There's all disciplines. There's English, there's Western, there's jumping, there's everything. But to be able to ride a horse, regardless of the discipline, part of what you got to do is be able to be balanced in that. And it's I know some people, you look at them and you say, I don't think they have the physical structure to have the balance to do it, but there's a lot of that you can adjust for. And I'm trying to tell you this, and I'm not the expert on this. This gentleman is. But first of all, Shawn, welcome. And tell us a little bit about your program on balancing up for riding.
Well, I learned from my own failures. I rode poorly for 13 years. I had to hang on. And I learned from that by experimenting that riding is much easier than it's portrayed in the horse industry. They make it difficult. So there's just two simple things that I learned, and I can get, I believe, any rider in balance within the day, usually within the hour. And that means they don't need to hold on, they don't need to brace, they don't need to pray. They just need to use the equipment they've been given. And one piece of equipment they need to get rid of, which is your instincts. And we can fix you quick. And then all of a sudden you become a confident rider immediately, instead of waiting and taking lesson after lesson and wondering, why am I not getting anywhere? And your parents are wondering, if you're a kid, why am I spending all this money? I still need duct tape. So it's just it's a frustrating experience for so many riders. A few people get it quick, but not many. Most people are months and years and never to get in balance, and that's a shame for our industry. Well,
you are working currently out of, you said it's Del Rio, Tennessee?
Yes, sir. Yep. Right. I'm at the Dude Ranch and French Broad Outpost Ranch. That's where I learned to ride at my own ranch. I had to, because I looked kind of dumb not being able to ride at first. So other than that, I had to learn how sooner or later. You can't own a hardware store and not know where the nuts and bolts are, so I had to learn.
Well, but I can allude to the fact I've done a lot of trail riding. Not as much now as I'd like to, but you used to do a lot of trail riding. And boy, if you're in balance with a horse, if everything is working well, it can be a fun ride. And if you're not in balance, it is not a fun ride.
No, because you're typically bracing. If you get back and your knees hurt, that means you've been bracing and basically walking in the stirrups the whole length of the ride. What I teach is you learn to lift your toes. Forget this heels down stuff or heels down, toes up. Lift your toes, because your toes take the pressure out of the stirrups. It pulls your hamstrings and your Achilles heel, which gives you resistance inside your own body, so you can control your own body, and you don't hurt anymore. That's one of the main things people that have ridden a lot that come to me say, I don't hurt anymore. Well, if you don't hurt anymore, you've already got one thing up the pole. So you're going pretty good if you're not hurting anymore. And then the second thing I teach is use the law of physics. Unfortunately, the industry has said, forget the law of physics, just sit like this and everything will come together. Well, it doesn't do it. Only a few people eventually get it. So if you use the law of physics and get the correct position, which is behind the center line, as a lot of the classical dressage people teach. Now, where we got this, you got to sit upright in this vertical line from your earlobes to your shoulders to your hips to your heels, is really a contrived fantasy that's how everybody's going to be in balance quickly. It doesn't happen. If it did, why does 70 or 80% of the people quit? Why are we losing so many folk?
That's true.
Because they don't like horses? No, they love horses. They go home and crying because they can't ride well, and their friends are making fun of them, the ones that did make it. Well, I want everybody to be in balance, and I can get anybody in balance the first day.
Well, one of the things too, you gotta, if you're on a trail ride and you're going up and down a lot of hills, okay, you have to really get in balance. First of all, you can throw your horse off, and next thing you know, your horse is going to get you off. And maybe not even on purpose at all. It just, if you're not in balance, you get your horse out of balance. You can throw them, actually, you can almost take them down on a hill because you're not doing the right balancing yourself going them down that hill.
All right, the balancing tool that you were given by God is located in your head. It's the greatest gyroscope the planet has ever known. Your inner ear and your brain create that. You use that. That will not let you get out of balance. What stops that from working are your hands and your feet. Every time your feet or your hands engage and try to hold or brace, your brain delegates its authority to them and says, oh, well, something else is going to balance me. Then you have to get the girth tighter because you keep moving the saddle off. And it's just an endless circle of disaster. So let your brain be the boss. It won't let you get out of balance once it knows its job is to get you in balance and keep you there.
Well, there's that other factor, too, that comes in there, and that is when somebody is when they're nervous. I won't say fearful, but when they're nervous on that horse, then they tense up.
That's your instinct.
And that's your instincts to tense up and be afraid, and when you do that, you're definitely going to be out of balance.
Well, the only reason that you can stop that is with your feet. When you lift your toes, that will reverse your instincts and not let them work. Because what happens is when you lift your toes up and try to go forward, it hurts your back. And your brain starts to say, I'm not going to let us go forward if I'm going to be in control of the balance. It's an amazing little system that works. We've already got the equipment, but nobody knows to do it.
We try to override our own equipment.
Exactly, that's right. Exactly.
I've had that problem myself.
Well, they got medicine for some of those problems, but
it's so simple, yet people can make it so difficult.
Well, not only people, but when you go take a lesson and when you go ask your friends, and universally this is taught how you have to do it a certain way. If it works so well, then everybody'd be great horseback riders. We'd have nobody ever quit. Why would you, if you loved cars, why would you quit driving them? Unless you're in a wreck every time you get in one.
Right. Well,
so that means someone's not training you how to drive right. So it's a unfortunate process that we have such a system that demands you do it this way, and it doesn't succeed very often.
Right.
And that I find sad, because I don't like to see people that love something so much like horses quit and go on to tennis or golf. Not that they may not like to play that, but I want them to stay in horses.
Well, but the beautiful part of horses is after you've been on that ride and everything, you've got an animal that loves you back. You've got to, you can put the golf clubs back in the bag. You can park the car in the garage, and it ain't going to do a darn thing for you past that. And that horse will.
That's right, including even if you have to clean up after him. That's part of the love.
That's right. Well, it is. It is. Shawn, how do people get a hold of you?
Well, they can go to balancedriding.net. That's my website for the riding. They can go to FrenchBroadDudeRanch.com. That's the ranch. They're interconnected to a degree. We're in East Tennessee. I'm trying to go to more expos and try to get the word out for people. You saw me in Maryland. Got two of the. Did you get to see it?
Yep.
The two kids that got in balance on their big draft horses. Did it within the hour.
Yep.
And I think that's what people should really look at, is get in balance and have fun.
Well, we want people to look you up and look for you at expos. Shawn, thank you.
Thank you, Wayne, for having me.
Been a pleasure. We're here at Speaking of Horses, so stay with us.